Check one. Good evening. I am calling to order the Fountain City Council meeting for September 24th, 2024. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Thompson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rick,
Here.
Councilmember Hinton,
Here.
Councilmember Applegate, Councilmember Estes,
Here.
Councilmember Hertzberg,
Here.
Councilmember Duncan.
Present.
I have 6 members present, and Councilmember Applegate has notified us he's running behind, but he should be here shortly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. That takes us to item 4, presentations. I know there isn't anything on the agenda for presentations, but we do have one we'd like to do tonight. A few years ago, the city decided to change their process on how they do legal stuff. We had been always outsourcing legal stuff, and we decided to bring our legal counsel in-house. And we hired this wonderful young man who had no children, um, named Troy Johnson, and had never worked for the capacity he's in now, but decided to take a chance on him because he looked eager and exciting and moldable and all that kind of good stuff you're supposed to say, right? And 3 children later, and 3 boys. Good for you. Wow, whew, you're busy. 3 boys. Troy has decided that he is going to move on from our city. And Troy, if you want to tell people, let's share people a little bit about what you're going to go do, or when your last day is, or.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is my last week here at the city. And it's already been a difficult week because I've said it a few times, but it's been sad for me because before I worked here, even my wife and I planted roots here and fell in love with this community and in this city, and I've loved working here too, and getting to serve the council and serve alongside great staff and to serve the citizens here. And it's been a great time, but so that's been the hardest thing to do, is to make a decision that hopefully is the right decision for me and my family, as I made the right decision 7.5 years ago for me and my family to come here and really begin our lives as a family here. And so my hope is that is the case now. So me and my family are headed up to Denver to join my father and his business and work alongside him as a business owner. He has a Chick-fil-A owner operator, and to learn that business from him is the goal. And so it's a big life change, and I hope it's the right decision for me and my family, but it is not a decision I take lightly, because what I've told people around here is I really believe in what we're doing here. The things that the city is doing is important work, and I hope that I've left a little bit of a legacy on that work, and hopefully that the council and the staff will continue that on, and with the support of the people here, that this city just continues to grow and to embrace the culture and the identity of who we are in Fountain. I hope just continues to be what it is, and I've just come to love and this city, and I'm sad to leave, but we got a long meeting, so I'll stop talking now before I get too emotional as well. But thank you, Mayor, for giving me the opportunity to say that.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have everybody come down front and take a picture of you with the plaque, but in a minute. But I don't want to go up and down and up and down. So, but I just want to read it out loud to you. One of the things a lot of you might not know is Troy does in his spare time is coaching, tennis coaching. So we have a plaque that says, presented to Troy Johnson, 2017 through 2024. Be bold. If you're going to make an error, make a doozy, and don't be afraid to hit the ball. Billie Jean King. So thought that was a great quote. With greatest sincerity, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to you with your dedication and service over the last 7 years.
We wish you the best as you enter your next adventure. Sincerely, your friends and family here in Fountain, the City Council, City Manager, employees, and citizens.
So we'll give that to you in a few minutes when we come down for photos. In the meantime, is there anything that any of the council members would like to say? I hope you do better than I did.
Sure. So, Troy, you know how I feel about you, how I feel about your family, and I'm not going to I'm going to try not to get emotional. You're going to be missed, right? The city is missing a great individual, not only a great individual, but a great person, a father, a husband, and how you carry yourself as a professional is sorely going to be missed. The next person won't be able to fill your shoes. That's just the bottom line. We just hope that he'll be able just to kind of, he or she stays at the same standard. And so I appreciate all your hard work and everything that you've offered and the sacrifice that you've given to the city. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Troy, thank you for your time, for listening to all my crazy rants, for coaching, developing, mentoring me as a council member, so that I can make sure I stay on the straight and legal path. You have been not only our attorney, but our friend, and I do appreciate it. So I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you, sir.
I have to join the bandwagon. Your shoes are too big to be filled. But what you have left here is a legacy of service and excellence. And that is they're never going to be replacing you. But it sets a standard that now we're going to be looking for. And I greatly appreciate that. And I wish you all the very best. We're going to miss you. Enjoy it and come back and visit us.
I just want to wish you the best of luck in your next chapter. And I know I've said before that the times that I've sat down to talk over things with you, I really never felt like I was talking to a lawyer. You weren't intimidating, you're very approachable, easy to understand. And I just hope that's something that our next one will have as well. We really appreciate it.
So I'm going to say farewell. They say that's the fancy way of saying goodbye. So I'm going to miss you and your family, seeing them in their little costumes and and seeing them come one by one and growing one by one. Good luck on your grocery bill because, boys eat a lot. Just want to say, thank you for all of your hard work. Nothing but, out in the community, hearing very good things about you and how you represent our city. And we are going to miss you. And just wanted to say thank you for everything and good luck.
Does any staff want to say anything?
I've had my opportunity to talk to Troy directly, and I'll have another opportunity at a little thing we're doing on Thursday. I'm gonna miss you, Troy.
I'm gonna go with the, you touched my heart obviously, Troy. Thank you. Appreciate your guidance and your help in sometimes tough job. Miss your little boys running into the park once in a while. Your little boy was so cute. He says, "Do you know who my dad is?" "What's your name?" And Troy's dying over in the background. It was just cute. But kind of like they did at MASH in the farewell episode, and BJ Honeycutt didn't say goodbye. So I hope we don't have to say goodbye to you. I hope we're still going to be seeing you. I know you'll be running up and down, zooming into stuff to finish things up. But I hope you know the door is always open here. And I think you got friends and family here. So come visit and bring those little boys. All right. Thank you. All righty. So with that said, let's go ahead and everybody go down. And we'll take some photos and give Troy his plaque. We're going to have to be calling you, Troy, still for interpreting things, because when we've had other attorneys in here, we look at you and you know how to look at it in English. So the common man's English, right? All right. That takes us on to correspondence, comments, and ex officio reports. Anybody over at that whole row? You just can all save it for later. Okay, IT,
Nothing tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
okay, city clerk.
Nothing, thank you.
All righty, okay, Mr. Rick? Councilmember Estes?
Make this quick. I'd like to make some comments on behalf of the Fountain Creek Watershed District. I'm currently serving as the board chair. The Fountain Creek Watershed District works to enhance the health of the Fountain Creek watershed, serving a huge area with 9 member governments from Palmer Lake to Pueblo. To date, we have completed $35 million in creek restoration work and have a robust suite of engaging community programming. Speaking of which, excited, this is Creek Week. It starts September 28th and runs through October 6th, and there are nearly 50 events scheduled. Over the past decade, Creek Week has mobilized more than 25,000 volunteers to remove 150 tons of trash. That's the equivalent weight of the Statue of Liberty. Just imagine the impact if we didn't have Creek Week. The district supports the creek crews by providing cleanup supplies, including bags, gloves, grabbers, buckets, and some fun swag. We've all received, passed out to the city council here, a goodie bag with items related to the Creek Week. Most cleanups take only a few hours, but can make a huge difference. We like to say Creek Week is 9 days. No excuses. Please visit the district's website at www.fountain-crk.org for all the details. I'm happy to answer questions afterwards if you have any, or reach out to the district. There's plenty of events for everybody to participate in. And this Friday, we're also having, and we're going to invite you, if you would like to come on the 27th, we'll start at Southmore Drive here, which is our project, our Fountain Creek Watershed District project in Fountain. And then we're going to go visit the residential rain garden in Colorado Springs, and then to Jackson Creek and Monument, followed by lunch. If you can please RSVP to Allie if you would like to attend this Friday. Or if you have any questions, you can reach me after we're done here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. One of the things I did since the last time we met is I am the chair of the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments. And we had a presentation at our last meeting on the Front Range passenger rail, which is one of the priorities of the governor and some people up that way. And they've been talking about trying to do a train from Pueblo up to Fort Collins. Yeah. And years ago, Fort Collins in that area up there taxed themselves to have a Front Range passenger rail, and they still don't have anything running. And so the legislature a couple of years ago passed the Front Range Passenger Rail District, of which we are a part of because we have a rail through our city. And they're wanting to go to the ballot in 2026 for a tax within the district, a sales tax you would pay if you live within the district, and to collect that tax. In the meantime, the legislature passed another bill in 2022, I believe it was, adding on to a fee you'll start paying in January whenever you rent a truck or a passenger vehicle, a daily fee. You already pay a daily fee called the Colorado Emergency Road Safety Tax. This will be an additional fee on any cars or trucks you rent in the state. And the Front Range Passenger Rail wants to get in line to get all that money and use it up north, essentially, for years. And so we had quite a discussion on the rail yard project that is going on in Fountain, because that project is applied for a CRISI grant, but so is the Front Range Passenger Rail applied for a CRISI grant. And the news coming from Denver is there's favoritism from the governor's office for one kind of grant and not for the other. Even though they both will help reduce traffic on the freeway and congestion, the rail yard project is down by PPIR, and it will take hopefully a lot of the semis that are being shipped around, and hopefully it'll get a spur to Fort Carson, and they'll be able to put their equipment and things onto the spur in that rail yard project instead of it being lined all the way around town for miles, making it a vulnerability for the base. And so by getting this spur, it would reduce that vulnerability on the base. I was a little concerned when the gentleman who, his name was Andy, did the presentation from the Front Range Passenger Rail because he was unaware of the front of the rail yard project. And so the question began, I don't know if we have so much congestion in the state, why we can't be working on both. Our project is much further along in terms of needing to be done. And they haven't even passed it on a ballot measure, which won't even be on the ballot for another 2 years. So one of the things that would also come out of the rail yard project would be, if the Fort Carson got the spur, would be the removal of that train track over I-25, because we can't widen I-25 from Colorado Springs South because of that rail spur and make it 3 lanes. And so it's a big project. Keep your ear to the ground on it. If you have any opinions on the front yard passenger rail, or if the fees that you are paying starting in January on that, and when you're renting a car or a vehicle, should be coming, some of them should be coming down to our region. Please make your voices known at the state. And this is something that could benefit the whole community, in addition to bringing a lot of high-paying jobs to the area. I know, I just signed a letter to have to do with part of that project too, on getting another exit out of Vinatucci Walmart at the north end. You know how you can only turn right to go out and you can only turn right to go in? Getting a roundabout up there that CDOT would be in charge of. And that would also help with some of the traffic and different things, to widen that bridge that goes over I-25 there, where there's no ADA access on that bridge, and it's not really safe for anybody walking up there. So lots of things we're trying to do in Fountain. The letter I just signed on that one was to, how do you say his name? Sure. Okay. The transportation director, Buddha. Okay, everybody knows it. Nobody can say it, right? Okay. Anyway, so lots of stuff going on in this area as far as us trying to keep things moving ahead. But please keep your ear to the ground on the rail yard project that Kimberly has been working on for years, and Front Range Passenger Rail that could potentially be a ballot measure in 2 years, and another sales tax added on by the state for the district. So, all right, that's what I've been doing. And Commissioner Gonzalez had a town hall meeting on Saturday that I was part of, and that's always a good thing, even though it was only a couple people there. We got to talk to a couple people. So, all right.
So we only have 6 more days left in September. Just want to make you aware of that we will be observing Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. And so I'll just read this little blurb here. As first observed in October 1981 as the National Day of Unity, Domestic Violence Awareness Month is held each October as a way to unite advocates across the nation in their efforts to end domestic violence. So just support that. It happens way too often, and people suffer in silence. So please, if you know anybody that is going through that, report it. Don't be a person that doesn't, stick your head in the sand. It is important to report those things and be an advocate. And that's all I have.
Thank you. You're right. It is very important. Okay, Councilmember Duncan.
I have been tracking the housing market in Fountain. I live where there are a lot of houses for sale. So I just wanted to share some information with you. There are currently 174 properties sold between 8/1 and 8/31. 20 of those properties were new construction. 156 of those were single family homes. 1 was a condominium and 16 townhomes. There are currently 124 properties for sale. 119 are listed under $169,000. And 34 properties went under contract so far this month. There are 5 properties in Fountain ranging from $875,000 to $3 million in Fountain. So I just wanted to share that information because, you know, I moved here because we could get more money for our home, but and the $3 million property is on Link Road. So that's our city attorney. We pay him so much money, right?
Moving north, Troy, you may need that money from that house.
So just wanted to share that information. Lot homes up for sale. The neighbor and I are the only two original people. We've been on that property for almost 20 years in our area, on our street. And we are the only two original, and they are moving to go to Austin. So I just thought I would look that up to see, you know, what's going on. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and make sure you are registered to vote. Update your address, research candidates and ballot issues, and make sure you have an informed decision when voting. The blue books should have hit your mailbox. I have mine, so look out for those. And that's all I'd like to share. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. If for some reason you need to leave town or you won't be in town during the voting time, I would contact the county clerk and recorder's office now. It's my understanding they do have some only at the clerk and recorder's office. I believe starting in today or in a couple days, you can vote in person up there, and they pull your mail ballot. So, but if you know somebody's leaving town, I caught a couple people who are going to be out of country, and they're going to be going by next week and doing their voting in person. Just remember, take your ID and, you know, not have to walk all the way back to the car, right? All right, that takes us on to public to be heard. Citizens may address the council on items that are not on the agenda. Council may not be able to provide an immediate answer, but will direct staff to follow up. Out of respect for the council and others in attendance, please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. I do have 3 cards. If there is anybody else in the audience that wanted to say something, please take your time now and fill out the card, and then you can give it to one of the chiefs up there at the table, and they'll get it passed up here. But I'm going to start with the 3 that I have in my hand right now. And I have James Estrada. If you would come down, and you wanted to talk about carports. And, oh, nope, and turn in the middle button. There you go. And state your name for the record, please.
My name is James Estrada. I live on 1655 Luna Drive. I think that's called Southmore. So a year ago, we saw this house over there. It's actually my boss's wife's family's house. They were trying to sell it, and I just started looking for a house. When I saw it, I was like, this is the place, because it had this big, beautiful carport. And that was part of the criteria that I wanted on the house. Well, before we could close on that house, the city of Fountain said that has to go down. That was grandfathered in. It didn't have a permit. But even so, it still got to go down because it's too close to the property line. Well, it had to go down. We closed on the house, but every time I go home, I'm pissed off because I don't think that was really necessary. So I'm looking into how to see what we can do about getting some of the zoning laws reviewed as far as carports go. There's a lot of people out of compliance, not just on my street, but in the whole neighborhood. Okay? I've talked with the zoning officer about it. She agrees with me. People that are have their carport, there's only like 4 poles usually, maybe, you know, per side at the most usually. I can't see any feasible reason why you couldn't have that closer than 5 feet to your property line. Whenever that was designed, whatever reason they came up with that, if somebody can explain it to me in a way that makes sense, I guess I'll accept it. But it better make sense. So what I'm asking you is if you will support that idea of looking into reviewing some of these laws. For me, it's that setback thing is my problem because I want to put the carport back up. But I don't want poles in the middle of my car, in the middle of my driveway. I want to be able to pull in my cars without having to worry about navigating that pole. For one, and I want to cover all my cars. I don't want to have to pick out which car I cover. We're every, 6 to 10 years, we get a crazy hailstorm in Fountain. I've lived in the Springs forever, but now I live here. But I had a car in Fountain when we had a grapefruit size hail, and that car got totaled in Fountain. My car was in Fountain. So I don't want to live here and have to be saying every time it hails, well, I guess I better keep that insurance up. I got insurance. You know, it's not necessary. So I have all this stuff where people have to come and, you know, get variances and things like that. Some stuff is just cut and dry. I got to hurry up here, huh? So the city of Colorado Springs said that it is up to Fountain to approve it. Yes, they do the permitting, but it's it's Fountain that has to do the approval. I've talked to the inspector. I believe I talked to Mr. Applegate on the phone. This just needs to be reviewed. So I'm bringing that to you there. One other issue, I talked to City Streets, the manager for City Streets, and he said he doesn't have money in the budget. They've been telling people on my street for the last 4 years that next year they're going to be redoing the curb and gutter and sidewalk. Some of that is a safety hazard, plain and simple. It's a slip hazard, a trip hazard. So you're talking about all of this stuff you're going to do with the railway and with the light rail. Well, you need to do something with your budget and get some of that money and put it on the city streets. I told the director of streets that I was going to say something about it here when I came also. But that's real talk. That's important. Okay? So hopefully you guys can feel me. You're the elected officials here. This is going to be my first vote in Fountain. But I'll vote for people who can see me and support what I got to say and what I would like. And my neighbors also, because I have talked with all the neighbors for the next few blocks around. Not all of them, but quite a few. Anyway, I think my 5 minutes is probably about up. So that's it. All
You
right.
got 25 seconds.
Okay, bye.
Don't, wait, hang on. Okay, hang on a second, Mr. Estrada. I appreciate your comments and thank you for taking your time to come in today. I really appreciate it. The carport ordinance is really carefully reviewed. I know Todd would be more than willing to set a meeting with you. You want to pick up his card and he can go over it with you and why some of those setbacks were made. And you're right, there are people that are out of compliance and they have a notice of nonconformity on their property, which might have been on that one too. And that's up to the seller to disclose that. So, I hear you. And the hailstorms seem to be coming more often than every 5 to 6 years. And I think we all kind of get a little panic when they say hail and we probably don't drive the way we should when they say hail because we're trying to get home, right? Get in our driveways, but in our garages. But thank you for coming down. And I know they have been working on a project with Southmore's curbs and gutters, doing a certain portion of them every year. And Todd that's in his department too. And so he can go over that. So I know he'd be happy to meet with you. So thank you for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. And
Okay, thank you
for being real.
All right, and add some more money to that budget.
Spend your tax dollars in Fountain and not the surrounding communities, right? And just to be clear, the rail project is not our project. Okay, I've at those meetings going, that's going to put an additional 12 trains a day through our town. And so I'm fighting for Fountain and others are too, as hard as we can. Okay, Mr. Langley from the American Legion is going to tell us all about when the next steak dinner's coming and other stuff y'all are doing. You guys are so busy. Your Facebook page is just popping stuff all the time.
All right. So yes, this Friday is our steak dinner that our riders have. It will have a New York strip. It'll have baked potato and a salad bar that goes on with that. And then we've got a lady that is making a dessert for that. This Monday coming up on September the 30th is the golf tournament that's going to be at the Country Club of Colorado. We're going to start showing up at 8:30. And at 10 o'clock, we start smashing balls and trying to get some money in the community or get some money that we can spend in the community. If anybody's interested, they can go to legionpost38colorado.org. They can click on the top button that says golf tournament. I'll take your money any way I can. But we use that to help out a lot of children and youth in the area. Then on Friday, October the 4th, the SAL is having a half a chicken rotisserie that they will have for their dinner. Can't remember what the vegetables are, but it's usually mashed potatoes, green beans, somewhere along those lines. On Friday, October the 11th, auxiliary does their chicken fried chicken dinner. And then on Friday, October 18th, the riders have their next steak dinner after this Friday. And then best for last is we have Oktoberfest on October 25th, where we'll have Jaeger Schnitzel, we'll have Spätzle, we'll have German potato salad, and a dessert that goes along with that. Wackadoo Brewery will be doing German flights of beer or German style flights of beer there. And so we hope to make a lot of money there also. And then on October the 26th, we have our trunk or treat for the little ones. Come and grab some candy out of the trunk. And then our auxiliary still has their coat drive that is going on. So new coats for children and lightly used coats for older people that we could help out in the community. Thank you for your time.
All right. Do you realize every time you say chicken fried chicken, you smile? So it must be your favorite dinner over there.
Well, it is the ladies that is cooking in it, and it's not me. So, but yeah, you can get fat on that gravy.
There you go. Okay. All right.
I vouch for the chicken fried chicken. Went there
Okay.
last Friday. Fantastic.
I can vouch for the steaks. Yeah, they're all, yeah. So, all right. Javanita Downs. I probably said it right. Really rad.
That's all right. Javinia Downs.
Can we reset the clock, Joni?
Thank you. Try this one more time.
Hang on,
All right.
we're having trouble with the clock here too. There we go.
We're
Thank you.
good. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up, but Madam Mayor and Council, thank you for letting me speak. We're looking for youth ages 13 to 20. We're starting our Babysitters Club and would really enjoy having them come. It's free membership. We're really looking forward to starting our kickoff this Saturday, the 28th, at the Salvation Army 208 Cunningham Drive from 10 to 1. And we're going to have prizes, gift cards, lunch will be provided. It won't be chicken fried chicken, but you know, it should still be all right. We'll be giving free CPR and first aid classes coming up in October. So anybody who joins now and is part of this startup would be able to get those free classes. We want to have everybody check out our website to learn more information. Contact us for more info. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. That's it.
All right. Thank you very much. And thanks for training the kids on that. That's so important. I remember my first babysitting job. I didn't think it could be too hard. And then the lady left her infant home and I didn't know anything about babies. So that was a surprise. All righty. Okay, that takes us on to item 7, consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be approved with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests, in which case the item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately at the discretion of council. We have item 7A, approval of the council minutes. What would council like to do? Councilmember Estes?
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Councilmember Hertzberg.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any deliberation? Seeing none, please vote.
Seven yes, motion carried.
Okay, that takes us on to item 8, old business. There is none. Item 9, new business. A, consideration of items removed from the consent agenda. There were none. Item 9B, public hearing. I'm opening a public hearing and first reading of ordinance 1803, an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Fountain, Colorado from regional commercial RC district to small office warehouse SO district for property generally located at the northwest corner of Syracuse Street and Mesa Ridge, and hereinafter more specifically described in Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Ms. Martinez, you gonna stay over there?
I am.
Okay.
Good evening, Christy Martinez with the City of Fountain. City of Fountain Planning Department. The item before you is consideration of a rezone request. The property is generally located at the northwest corner of Syracuse Street and Mesa Road. It's currently zoned the Regional Commercial Zone District, as is the primary portion of that area over there. They are proposing to rezone this parcel to small office warehouse to facilitate an indoor self-storage facility. The parcel is situated between the railroad tracks and a detention pond that will serve the commercial development to the north. It's not located within a floodplain. The city of Fountain will be providing the utility service, water, electric, and public safety. Sanitary sewer is provided by the Fountain Sanitation District, and natural gas is provided by Black Hills Energy. A significant portion of the property, surrounding properties are all vacant, but it does have some varying zone districts between the regional commercial planned unit development to the south, which was planned for the Crescent Canyon development in the early 2000s, and then Village Center to the west. So this is the parcel. It's approximately 4 acres-ish, give or take. And as I mentioned, it is located, so the railroad tracks are located to the west. There's a detention pond kind of at the top of the screen, and then there is vacant land to the east. The property, as I mentioned, is zoned resident or regional commercial. Within the comprehensive development plan, within the future land use plan, it does recommend commercial for this area. The rezone request as presented to change the zone to the small office warehouse would not be in conformance with the future land use plan. However, should council feel that deviation is not a hindrance to the comprehensive development plan, there wouldn't be an issue moving forward with that. Staff does find that the request is generally consistent with the review criteria outlined in the Fountain Municipal Code. As this is a public hearing, all public notice requirements were met, which included that the property was posted with a public hearing poster. All property owners within 400 feet of the property were mailed by first-class mail and notice advertising tonight's hearing, in addition to a legal notice that was published within the Gazette. Out of all of the public notice, we have not received any feedback from the public. This item was presented at the August 2024 Planning Commission meeting, at which time they did make a favorable recommendation to move forward to tonight's consideration. Staff does not make recommendations on rezone requests, so should City Council find that the request is consistent with the review criteria, then a favorable motion on first reading of Ordinance 1803 should be put forth. Are there any questions for staff?
No, but take a breath. I thought you
I did breathe.
Okay. All right. Is there any discussion up here, questions from council?
The applicant is here if there are any
Okay.
specific questions for them.
All right. Which one's the applicant? Okay, got a couple of people that I think are here for items tonight. So, hi. Could you introduce yourself, please? Middle button. There you go.
Jason Allwine, Matrix Design Group. Much what I have is repeat, so I'm just happy to answer any questions, fill in any blanks that I could. Thank you.
Okay. And this is a storage facility, correct?
That is correct. The intent will be an indoor storage facility.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Okay. Are there any questions? This is a public hearing. So are there any questions from anyone who's a member of the public? All right. Seeing none. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it. Oh, my goodness. What did I do? I didn't think I banged that hard. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring it back up here for the council members. Councilmember Duncan.
I motion to approve ordinance 1803 on first reading.
Councilmember Rick.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further deliberation? Seeing none, please vote.
Seven yes, motion carried.
All right, thank you for coming down tonight. Appreciate it. That takes us on to item 9C, public hearing. I'll be a little bit more careful with banging that, huh? Open a public hearing in resolution 24-035, a request for a conditional use for outside storage greater than 15% of the lot area, requesting 24.7% of the lot area for the property located at 10755 Charter Oak Ranch Road, and hereinafter described in Exhibit A and B. Ms. Martinez.
Thank you. Again, this is a conditional use request for an existing property to allow outside storage greater than that's allowed as a use by right within the planned industrial zone district. As was mentioned, it's located at 10755 Charter Oak Ranch Road, so it's located on the west side of I-25 and the Santa Fe exit, which is exit 128. This is the existing site of the Weathercraft Colorado, which is a roofing company, and they provide other services. So they use their site for their storage of materials and goods for their projects that they are working on. All of the outside storage areas would be screened from view with the proposed 6-foot high chain link fence, which would have the privacy slats woven within. All of the stored materials and equipment would not be stacked higher than the screened fence. It is not located within the floodplain. Very similar to the previous one, the city of Fountain would be providing the utility services, water, electric, and public safety. Sanitary sewers provided by the Fountain Sanitation District, and natural gas is provided by Black Hills Energy. This is a site plan outlined of what the existing site looks like. So there's the existing structures. The areas that are bubbled in the red identified are as the storage areas that would be screened from view and utilized on the site. Within the comprehensive development plan and future land use plan, this area is called out as light industrial. So the request before you tonight is consistent with the recommendations set forth within that plan. Staff finds that this request is generally consistent with the review criteria outlined in the Fountain Municipal Code for conditional uses. This is a public hearing, the property was posted with public hearing notice. All property owners within 400 feet of the property were notified, and the legal notice was also published within the Gazette, and staff has also not received any feedback on this item. This was also presented at the August 2024 Planning Commission meeting, which time they did make a favorable recommendation, subject to the conditions that the outside storage is limited to a maximum of the 24.7% and outlined in the area shown on the site plan, that the outside storage would be screened from view with the 6-foot chain link fence with the slats. The fencing is proposed to be higher than 7 feet, then a building permit would be required from Pikes Peak Regional Building Department, and that the site would not be used for the storage of junk debris or inoperable vehicles. Staff does not make any recommendations. However, should City Council find consistency with the review criteria, we would not oppose the approval of Resolution 24035 tonight, subject to the same recommendations that were put forth before Planning Commission, with the added one that the stored materials would not be stored or stacked higher than the screened fence, which was indicated by the applicant. Are there questions for staff?
Okay, so the motion would need to include those provisions if we choose to go forward with this. Is that correct?
That would be staff's recommendation for the conditions, should they
Okay.
find consistency.
All right, all righty.
And
So
the
is there any
applicant is
discussion
here.
from council up here? Councilmember Duncan? No? Okay, all righty. Any questions up here? Councilmember Rick?
Yes, I want to make sure I understood. This is for a roofing company.
Correct. It's for Weathercraft, Colorado.
Okay, given the amount of hailstorms that we've had over the last 10 or 15 years, I think this is a reasonable request to have roofing materials to be stored in Fountain, giving all the roofs.
Oh, they're already in business. They've been there probably close to at least 20 years.
Yeah,
I think it's just they want to include the amount of square footage and it has to be screened, correct?
Correct.
but the amount of hailstorms we're getting justifies this request is all I'm saying.
Okay. All righty. Public hearing. Do we have any comments or questions from anyone in the public? And is the applicant here? Okay, we'll let the applicant go. And if anybody in the public has a question.
I am Bruce Smith with CRP Architects, making the application for Weathercraft. And yes, Weathercraft has been there 30 plus years. So all the other adjacent uses are industrial except for the Super 8. Weathercraft predates all of them. So this is not a new business. And indeed, the hailstorm was a wonderful comment.
Please come down, state your name.
John Fleming, I'm the owner of Weathercraft and just here to answer any questions you have.
All right, well, nice to meet you. I've met some of your staff. I have the business up at the end of the road. Carson
Oh,
Left Self Storage and you.
yes, I
Not
know.
U-Haul, but welding supplies, yeah. And so you guys have done some patching on our roof in olden days. So,
Oh, yeah.
yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and close. And is there anybody from the public that wanted to say anything? I don't see anybody raising hands, jumping up. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back up here to the dices. Councilmember Rick.
Move to approve resolution 24-035 with the staff recommended conditions.
Do we need those read into the record, the exact conditions?
Ms. Martinez read those into the record when she
Okay,
gave her presentation. I think that would be sufficient. Thank you.
okay, thank you. All right, and Councilmember Duncan?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further deliberation up here? Seeing none, please vote.
Seven yes, motion carried.
All right, that takes us on to item 10, City Council agenda requests. Are there any from any council members up here? Okay. Alrighty, so that takes, we do not have an executive session. Can we just have one more, Troy? Come on, just one more.
Sure. I just have a question.
Oh, okay. Already, Councilmember Duncan has a question.
Yeah, I just have a question. Troy, who is taking your place on the opioid board?
Great question. It's up to the city who wants to replace me on the opioid council. It's a good time to do it. Right now we are not a voting member this year. It's we serve for 2 years as a voting member and then take a year off and switching with some other municipalities. And so we are not a voting member this year. And so it'd be a good time to begin attending the meetings and then become a voting member in January again. So ultimately, that's up to council. You can have a member of staff do it or a council member. Different cities do it a lot of different ways. So a lot of flexibility. But that'll be up to the council to assign somebody to fill that role for the city.
Okay, let's go ahead and I'll get that on the agenda then for next time, Scott. Can you get that on the agenda for next time? Okay, thank you. All righty. Okay. All right. So can we all just vote no for an executive session? Just one last time for Troy? Come on. Huh?
No mas.
No? Okay. All righty. Now we're going to adjourn, but don't leave. All right. I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the regular council meeting. We're going to take a 10-minute break. And if you'd like to stay around because you just really like city business, we are having our first of our budget meetings tonight. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to reset the room. Council's going to come down there, sit on the floor. It is a work session, not a city council meeting, and so those are handled a little bit differently. And we will be getting our first look at the budget from the staff members. So if you'd like to stay for the budget meeting, you're more than welcome. But in 10 minutes at, well, 7 o'clock, we'll be coming back for the work session.
Wait, boy, settle in.
Huh?